Good evening, race fans. Track announcer Jimmy McNerney coming to you from the third floor studio here at Turfway Park in beautiful Florence, Kentucky. 8 races on the card here. Ladies' night every Saturday at the track. Ladies' night here, we have plenty of drink specials, some live music going on up on the third floor. Again, 8 live horse races. Temperature starting to warm up here in the tri-state. It's up in the upper 40s, low 50s here just about post time. And, of course, the Polytrack, as always, is fast. So 8 races on the card tonight, no carryovers to speak of. The high five was hit last night, and we're kind of spot on last night. Dan and I sent out, I think, 6 of the 8 races were top pick winners. So hopefully we can continue that trend tonight. I think it's a pretty formful card. Again, the weather and the track should play no issue. There should be no bias or anything as far as that goes. Now, in the 8 races, the first race, of course, always starts the pick 5. 50-cent pick 5 starts here in the opener. Just about 42 minutes to post. And in the opener, it's a field of 8 to go a mile, maiden 15 to 10 claimers. And in the opener, I end up liking number 4, Crescent Warrior, as my top pick. Now, Crescent Warrior is a 5-year-old maiden with 11 starts. Been 5 times second, though. And I think he's finally found his friends. I think he can beat this field. I think the only question I had was how much pace there would be, but you know, I don't think he needs a lot of pace. I just think he needs to be ridden smartly. So if there's not pace, obviously he'll be closer. And just if Johnny McKee can just keep him out of trouble and out in the clear, I think Crescent Warrior gets paid today in his 12th career start. Now, for second, I'm going to go for number 1, Private Galaxy. Now, this one is coming out of the same race as my top pick, where they were just noses apart, basically, in their last meeting. Now, this is also a 5-year-old, but he's only raced 2 times, so making his 3rd start, but he's improved with each and every race. Now, on debut, he is off very slow and just kind of walked out of there, but he did kind of finish up willingly and had a pretty good, strong gallop out, and Private Galaxy came back to break much better. Now, he was wide, though, and made a big bid and just kind of flattened out and may have needed that one, in fact. Now, this is the 3rd start, and I think he'll move forward off that first 2 efforts, and Corey Orm back up in this saddle once again. Now, for 3rd, I'm going to go for a big long shot in here. I almost made this my long shot play, but I'm going to go for number 5, the KEW Shuffle. Now, this one hasn't raced since August when we last saw him at Belterra. That was a straight maiden where he was 4th, beaten 9 lengths. I think of anything in this field, this one has been facing the toughest of companies. Now, he's by Morning Line out of a Silver Deputy mare. I think he is begging for the route distance. And if you go back to those 3 route races at Churchill in Indiana, if he can just repeat any of those, he runs away from this field. I just was questioning the layoff here. He does have a good series of works. Jimmy Chapman's a very capable horseman, and you know, I'm sure he'll have this horse tight. Gets a 10-pound break in weight from the Bug Girl, Virginia Tormey, and is 8-1 on the Morning Line. I think this horse will be on the ticket and does offer some good value. I think all the money obviously will be on the 4, Crescent Warrior, as Mike has him tabbed at 9-5. Again, that's the first race. That starts the 50-cent pick 5 on races 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Second race here at Turfway Park, the start of the early pick 4, sponsored by Olivia Ann. Now, in that race, number 6, Monday Confession, is scratched. Monday Confession is scratched, and that kind of changed things for me because I did like that horse a lot, and I ended up going for number 5, Beach Hut, as my top pick. Now, this one that ran a huge race last start. In fact, it's much better than it appears on paper, where it shows he was 8th, 4 lengths, and kind of rallied off the pace, just got up on the square to win, but he was annihilated at the start, and basically I thought he lost all chance, but somehow he found his feet and came running and ran on against Tobias. Prior to that, he was 5th to Ambidextrous Alex, who's also in tonight in a starter allowance we'll see later on the card. In 3 back, he was 2nd, beaten ahead to my 2nd choice, Charm. I think he was the best horse that day. He kind of made a too early move. The jock pushed the go button a little bit early, and he made that move. Then he ended up getting beat by Charm in the final strides. But I think Beach Hut will turn the table on Charm tonight. Charm is my 2nd choice, a very consistent sort 4 for 7 in the money on the Polytrack here. And lifetime, he's 21 for 51. And Ricky Short, a very good horseman, sends us an out. Johnny McKee, who was the last one to win on Charm, is back up in the tack. And for third, I like number 8, Brett's Boy at 10-1. Now this one is dropping in class. He has been racing in open 5 claimers, comes back into the 2 cents a date condition, and the horse he ran against, Dream Saturday. Dream Saturday was on a couple of race win streak there. I think in fact he's won 3 in a row, but Dream Saturday won both of those races. If Dream Saturday was in this race, I think he'd be 1-5, but that is another one that we'll see in a starter allowance coming up here at Turfway. But Brett's Boy, I think, on the class drop, well drawn to the outside, and at 10-1, I think you need to use him on your ticket. That starts the pick 4. I'll have a ticket later on here prior to the second race. We put together, I believe, a $48 pick 4 on each of our pick 4s tonight. That does start there in race number 2. Now the third race here at Turfway is in love and memory of Mac McPherson, Raymond Mac McPherson, a longtime employee here at the track. We'll have a little remembrance for him later on in the program prior to the third race, but this race is named for him by his family and friends. And in this race, the 7 is out. And this race, if you're playing pick 4s or pick 3s or even doubles, I think this is the race where anything can happen. I think this race is wide open. I can make a case for pretty much every horse in the field. Maybe with the exception of one, but if I'm going to use more than half the field in a multi-race wager like that, I have to hit the all button. That means I don't have a strong opinion. But if you hold my my hand to the fire, I landed on number 6, Grammy's Legacy. I picked this horse a couple of times at the meeting. He was second last start, but I think trainer Brian Waltz has decided to put the blinkers on. I thought maybe he might not be might make him focus a little more, because he did make the lead and kind of wandered about and kind of pulled himself up and got beat. But the blinkers go on. I think he's going to show a little more speed. And outside of him, I don't know who's going to go in here really. So I think Grammy's Legacy will be forwardly placed, and Malcolm Franklin could steal it on the front of here with Grammy's Legacy for second. I'm gonna go for slow hand Wesley Ward on the class drop. And Luan Machado has the call on the son of Giacomo. Now for third, number 9, Go Harley Go, gets a break in weight, 7 pounds off, in fact, with Carlos Caisimo. Now this one is another taking a slight drop in class from the $7,500 level to the $5,000 level. This one should be just about mid-flight and will need some pace in front of it, but I do think he can be on the ticket. Race 3, I'm going 6, 5, 9. Now the fourth race is a condition claimer for 4 and ups who have not won a race in the last 6 months. They'll go 1 mile, and it is a field of 9 to go. Now this race is where we'll find my best bet. We started a new thing last night here at the track where Dan and I will pick best bets and long shots, and we'll keep track of those and give you our win percentage, our return on investments throughout the remainder of the meeting. Both of our best bets won last night, and hopefully we can continue that trend. Here in the fourth race, the best bet of the night for me, I'm going to go for the 4 Ferocious Tiger, 6-5 for Z Handler, Wishmeyer, and Sutherland. And this one has been second in each of his last 2 starts here at the meeting. 2 starts back, he was tons the best. He literally, you'll see in the short comment, it says waited a quarter gaining, and he was in trouble for a good deal of the race, and was locked and loaded. And then when he finally got clear, he ran out of room. He couldn't run down Union Bowman, who I think is a 22-time winner, and came back and was second, beaten 5 lengths, where he sat off the pace and they let the street factor go, and he got away through 24, 48, 13, and 2. Very soft fractions, and couldn't run him down. But Ferocious Tiger today, I think he's in a good spot. The only horse I think outside of him in the race that could win if something happened with Ferocious Tiger would be the 6 Skips Brewmeister. But Ferocious Tiger, I think in a race void of speed, is definitely the one to go to and lean on for your singles, as it is my best bet. Now, who would I go to after that in this race? Like I said, number 6, Skips Brewmeister. 4-1 on the morning line. Class dropper, has 3 wins here at the track, 3 seconds, so 6 first or second place finishes in just 8 starts. And on the poly total, synthetic rather, he is 9 for 14. Class drop has a tightener. Last race he hadn't raced since September or mid-September, and so he's making a second start off the layoff on the class drop. Brett Santangelo gets able to Scano up tonight. I think this one will be stalking from just a couple of 2-3 lengths off of the pace. After that, number 7, Burnt Bluff, is my third choice. First start for the barn of Alexis Cordero Lopez. Now, Angel Serpa rides. This one will need a little bit of pace up top, and will come with a strong closing kick Son of Giants Causeway, who is in search of career win number 4 and is 8-1. Now the 5th race starts the 50-cent late pick 4 on the final 4 races on the card. Don't forget 14% takeout there in race 5. That's where we'll find our other angle of the night, our long shot play of the night in race number 5. That'll be number 3, Still Chief at 12-1. Still Chief, I think, is the best horse in the race on paper. If the pace scenario would set up for him, I think there are several horses that will go. I know Improviser's going to be forwardly placed, Dream Saturday, Ambidextrous, Alex, Moon Teej, even Insurgent. So it's going to set up for this horse and also Birds Gone Wild. But I think Still Chief is the better of the two. Now, when I was looking at it for value, Birds Gone Wild is the second choice at 3-1. Still Chief 12-1. I'm going to lean for the 12-1 shot and hope, the rider switch to Rodney Prescott. I think that's probably a 3-length switch. So I think maybe he can turn the tables. I like the cut back in distance for the horse. He's going from 6.5 back to 6. That's his more preferred distance, as over half of his lifetime wins has came at today's distance. My long shot play of the day, Still Chief in race 5 at 12-1. Now, the other horses to use in there, I will use number 10, Birds Gone Wild. Obviously, the pace scenario sets up for him. He just beat most of the field in here, and he is a 17-time winner. He is my top pick in the race, number 10, Birds Gone Wild. And then I'll go to number 7, Ambidextrous Alex. Now, this one is a 3-time Turfway winner. He's on a 2-race win streak and has been stepping up the ladder with each and every win. He won a 2 cents at 8 claimer for the nickel, stepped up to the 8 level, and now today we'll try the starter allowance foes. And I think he's well spotted here. I'm going to use him second, and then we'll use the horse I spoke on earlier for third. Now, race number 6 from the track is a maiden filly 3-year-old claimant event, $7,500, and they'll go 6 furlongs. In race number 6, I had a tough time with this race. I think you can make a case for a lot of the horses, but ultimately I'm going to go for the pretty much the connection angle. Seth Hancock, Tommy Drury, Malcolm Franklin. They had a couple of wins on the card last night, Drury and Franklin. And, when Seth Hancock sends these horses to Tommy, they're always ready. Tommy gets them ready. He allows him to enter aggressively in the right spots. And Already Gone is an example of that. She's the daughter of Blaine, who we saw here last start as the beaten favorite for the 15 level. Didn't race all that bad. Was 4th beaten a length. And that was her first start since July, where we last seen a race at Ellis. Now, she was making her second off the layoff today, but they've elected to jam her in for the 75, and I put her on top. Now, number 10, Orlanza, is another one who's class dropping. She's exiting straight maiden performances. She had a horrible 9th place finish last start, beat 19 lengths, but she did have an excuse. She was checked and was on some heels and had to steady on the run the first turn. The time before, she was 4th, beating 7 lengths to a really good field. East Coast Swing, Malibu Party, who came back and raced in the Cincinnati Trophy last night. She was 3rd and was gobbling up ground, so been keeping good company. It has Orlanza. Now, all of a sudden, she drops in for the 7,500 level, 4-1. She is definitely a player in the 6th race. You'll want to have her on your ticket. After that, number 4, Cherry Ganache, a firster for Wesley Ward, and gets Angel Serpa up top. I'm going to go 3-10-4 in race 6. Race fans, at this time, we'll take a brief break as we pause for the cause as we honor America for our nation's anthem. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Turfway Park. Folks, at this time, we ask that you please rise, kindly remove your caps, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening once again, race fans. Welcome into Turfway Park for a wonderful Saturday evening of racing from Turfway. Now, it is ladies' night at the track, a lot of drink specials, some live music up on the third floor as well. Race fans, if you'll take out your racing forms and programs, I'll give you tonight's late program changes. First race was at pick 5 and start of the early double. There are no changes. No changes in race 1. In the second race, scratch number 6, Monday Confession. Second race number 6, Monday Confession, is out. In the third race, scratch number 7, The King's Hero. Third race number 7, The King's Hero, has been scratched. And please be aware, in that race, number 4, Senior Wilbur, contrary to the program, has not been treated with Lasix tonight. In third race number 4, Senior Wilbur, no Lasix. No changes in the fourth. If you'll turn to the fifth. In the fifth race, overweight on number 4, Dreaming of Frank, the jockey 1 over. Scratch number 8, Moontige. Number 8, Moontige, is scratched. No changes in race 6. In the 7th race, we'll scratch number 6, Catherine's Drama. 7th race, number 6, Catherine's Drama, has been scratched. In the 8th race, with that super high 5 wager, there's a scratch of number 6, Sugar Candy Rose. Number 6, Sugar Candy Rose, is out. Race fans, those are the changes and scratches at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the card, I'll get those to you as they do so. 26 minutes to post. Good luck. Welcome back in, race fans, once again as we continue on for our little handicapping session here. Now, we got through the 6 races prior to the break. We have a couple of races left, and before I get to that, I want to remind you, coming up next Friday here at the track, the John Battaglia Memorial Stakes. We'll have a lot going on that night. In addition, on that Friday, February 8th, you can come on out and meet some of the top jockeys in racing history. You get a chance to collect their autographs here, and you can purchase a poster that we put together here for the active and retired jockeys. That poster will be available for only $10. Then you can line up to have your poster signed with a little meet and greet with all of the jockeys. It's always a big turnout from these past and present jockeys here. You can also meet some jockeys that have made history in our sport. You can meet Triple Crown winners John Kruger, Steve Cawthon. Also, Kentucky Derby winning jockeys. Pat Day will be here. Mike Manganello, of course, won aboard Dust Commander, and many, many more on Friday, February 8th. There will also be some silent auction items where you can bid on. All proceeds, of course, benefit the PDJF. That's the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. The autograph signing in the silent auction next Friday will kick off just about 6 o'clock, and I think we'll go to somewhere around 8:30 next Friday here at Turfway. Now, continuing on for tonight in our final 2 races of this segment. Race number 7 is a good quality filly and mare, 8 other than optional claimant allowance to go a mile. My top pick is number 1, Lasia Jane. I think she's a standout in here. If she runs that race back that she ran last start, she'll run out the screen on this field. She's a daughter of U.S. Ranger, where she was 3rd, beaten 3 lengths in her last start here. That was against the boys and a horse named Broken Promise, who's on a 4-race win streak. He's beat 2 other than optional claimers all around here, including Indiana, some of the top open middle claimers in the game. And Lasia Jane returns to the filly and mare ranks, and also takes a step drop down in the 8 other than optional quarter ranks. I think she's a standout in here, and deservedly so. Mike has her tabbed at 9-5. After her, I think you got to use Paul Webster's Tempestuous Amy, number 4 from the barn of Bill Conley. Now, she was second beaten 2 lengths last start here at Turfway, but that was going 6.5. She's back into her more suitable distance, the route distance. At this particular distance, she's got 2 wins, 2/3 from 5 starts. And, 2 back, she romped. That was a 15-9-3 level, but she did it impressively. Came back and did run good for going the 6.5 distance to Sugar from the Contreras barn, but I think she's well meant here tonight. It's just if Lasaya Jane, if the post position plays any role in her Tempestuous Amy, could upset her. But I think it's 1-4-7 for me. The 7 Majestic Kindness I think is the best of the rest. Now that takes us to the 8th race, the second half of the late double. Also, it features Super High 5 wagering, a $1 base bet. There's no carryover. That was hit last night. I think it went out for just about $1,500. But in this race, there was a scratch number 6, Sugar Candy Rose. And this race, I'm going to go for a horse who is a horse for the course. Prom Theme. Now, I know 5.5 is not her most suitable distance. In fact, she's never won at this distance, but she has won 10 times here. And in fact, she's 27 for 39 in the money here over the Poly. She's an 18-time winner, made just shy of $200,000. Now, she does get rolling late, and she has been even running out of, real estate, if you will. Her last couple of starts going 6 and 6.5. But the 5.5 furlong distance, I think the class in here, I think her back class has to get her paid here. She's 5-2 on the morning line. She is a 10-year-old, but I think she's going to be about 3-4 lengths off of the pace. I'm sure Dear Benny's going to go. She'll be the pace setter, but I think Prom Thing should be a little more forwardly placed. There's not as much pace to her. I know she's getting older and takes a little more time to get going, needs a little more ground, but just on class alone, I think she stands out here. Second, I'm going to go for number 7, High Legend. Now, this is another horse who is proven. I believe she's a maybe even be a stake winner up in Michigan, but she's an 11-time winner from 28 starts. Dropped in class last start for the $5,000 2 in 6 months, and didn't get a real good ride from the Bug Boy that day, and gets Abel Toscano up top today. She was wide throughout last time. He called on her too late, but I think Toscano's a little more heady rider than Kaisimo, and he'll have her better placed. And High Legend on the class drop even again, because now she's back into the 1 in 6 months, and James Jackson has her in here with Abel Toscano, and Mike has her at 4-1. After that, I'm going to go for the pace setter, Dear Benny. I think maybe she can hang around to get a piece of it at 9-2 with Luan Machado. 8th and final, I'm going to go 4, 7, and 2. Also, race fans, don't forget Saturday Ladies Night. I've said it a couple of times, but you want to head up to the 3rd floor and take part in that. Now, 20 minutes to post for the opener here from Florence, Kentucky. Race 1, don't forget, starts that early pick 5. Good luck.